there, TSC fans! I'm Caitlin, your host as always, and this is the video to catch you up on all the happenings of meeting number 3 in our 10-week lineup. Our head count was at 8 today, July 10th, and now that I've got some regulars, I'm getting really into the groove of things and passing the experimental phase. The project is off to a swinging start. Last week, you may recall, we devoted the meeting to a more practical topic, that being goal setting, but now we're going to explore a subject that's a bit more exciting. Today, we delve into the realm of the puzzling and the peculiar with our focus on mysteries. I can think of no better mysteries for kids than the ones that captivated my childhood, the Encyclopedia Brown series by Donald J. Sobel. You may have heard of the boy detective and his adventures, but my guess is it's more likely you haven't. This obscure little gem of a series got its start in the 60s and featured a 10-year-old crime solver who had an entire encyclopedia, hence the name, in his head. The books have a few miniature mysteries in each, complete with solutions at the end. I love this series so much, and I have so many good memories of it. It's got an old-fashioned mischievous charm, clever quips, and intriguing characters. What's not to love? I read from the book Encyclopedia Brown and the Case of the Midnight Visitor in particular, which is 13th in the series. It contains a mystery of the same name, and that's the tale I shared with the kids. So, in the story, Encyclopedia solves a mysterious kidnapping case, and he asks only one question in order to do so. He's that good. After I finished reading, we attempted to piece it together the same way he did. It took a great discussion and a little bit of prompting, but suffice it to say, the group was able to successfully crack the case on their own, and if you're curious how, go check out my website. I was really proud of them for fully utilizing all the clues and putting on their thinking caps to come to the right conclusion. I asked the kids what they liked and didn't like about the story. They were all in agreement that solving it on their own was fun, and it made them feel like real policemen. Whether you read this story or any other, ask if your child picked up on the clues too. When you're talking about mysteries, you can't avoid mentioning today's writing technique, foreshadowing. Now, foreshadowing is a great skill to teach kids in their writing. When I asked if anyone knew what it meant, only one of them seemed to have even heard of it. Foreshadowing is when a writer includes something that is a clue or hint of something to come later on. Think of a thunderstorm before a tragedy, since weather is a classic way of using foreshadowing. It could also be in the form of a character's actions. Someone who is shown to frequently be fighting with others could foreshadow a huge confrontation later on that results in a major change or consequence. It might even be a kind of blink and you'll miss it example, which could be only in the background or blended in with other details so that it's well hidden by the author. For example, when describing a character's house, small descriptions like the several boxes of hair dye in the bathroom cabinet could foreshadow a dramatic reveal of that character's secret double life as a criminal in disguise. It's one of the things that, when done well, you notice mostly in hindsight, and when you first read it, you likely don't suspect it has any unusual importance. It's only when you have everything before you at the end that you notice how the author was planning this all along. When discussing the idea of foreshadowing in mysteries, ask questions like, why does an author use foreshadowing? Is it a good technique? How else can it be used? Can you think of any examples? It really is the mark of a clever author to have been building something up from the beginning rather than just throwing it in for no reason. Think of famous examples of foreshadowing, like those in classic novels. In Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, Dimmesdale's nervousness and illness foreshadow the later reveal of his involvement with Hester Prynne. For something that might be more familiar or easier to explain to your child, we can use yet another Harry Potter example. Gee, they sure do come up a lot in these videos. They're more of an influence on me than I thought. There are hints all throughout the third book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, that Professor Lupin is a werewolf, even in his name itself. I mean, come on, Remus Lupin. When it's revealed to the other characters, it makes sense based on what we've already read and may have already figured out ourselves, with evidence like the thing he fears most being a mysterious silver orb meant to be the moon. Foreshadowing is often so subtle that it can be disputed or interpreted differently by different readers. Your child may not be at the level of using foreshadowing with this much prowess, but starting small with more direct examples, like the aforementioned weather, can be a great introduction. When I was younger, I unknowingly used foreshadowing in my stories, and perhaps your child does this too. If you explain it to him, he can begin to elevate his understanding of it and use it with more purpose. Our TSC activity for the day was for the kids to take a crack at a mystery I made for them myself, which can again be found on my website. It was very interesting to hear the discussions that the group had, because everyone came up with great theories based on the different clues I had laid out for them. I included foreshadowing to the solution of the case with small details about each of the suspects. If you want to try this out at home, you can find a mystery online, or try making your own, which I recommend because it's really fun. The activity was a big success for both me and the group. To kick off our writing period, I showed them the word of the day, which was enigma, something mysterious or hard to understand. The writing prompt was for the kids to apply what they learned and write their own mystery stories, and a few of them did. If you want to write at home with your child, have him write a mystery and allow him to help you solve it. Our group came up with some great stories, and I watched them take shape as I went around helping out. The surveys were all positive, and overall, this has been one of my favorite TSC meetings so far. Hopefully you all learned something from it. I'm excited for number 4. If you are too, then by all means stay tuned. See you next time around!